As an autistic person, do you have gut problems? If you do, the microbes in your gut and in your stomach and in your colon may be telling your brain to manufacture um, chemicals that are making you feel bad, making you have bad emotions and not being able to control yourself and causing you to be depressed and anxious. Whereas if you eat a healthy diet, the microbes in your gut may be telling your brain that everything's good and life is a box of chocolates and you're surprised inside. So, bottom line is that there is a what's called the gut brain axis. So, there's a connection between our gut and our brain. And it makes sense because, our gut has to tell us if we're eating the correct food. And our gut has to tell us when we are hungry and when we're full. And so there's a bundle of nerves that run from the gastrointestinal tract all the way up into our brain. And so the bottom line is that the microbes that are in our stomach, in our intestines, in our colon, communicate with our brain as a second brain, as a mini brain. And one of the things is that if you're not eating correctly, your stomach, your intestines, your colon are going to be telling you something. So, a lot of the times, people with autism have a lot of gastrointestinal distress, have a lot of gas, have uh, distended stomachs, have diarrhea, have constipation, have a lot of pain in our guts and have problems with digesting food, having problems with allergies, so being highly sensitive to different foods. And this can be caused by having the wrong kinds of bacteria in our intestinal tract and in our body. And so, what they found over the last 10 years is that there's a connection between what's going on in our stomach and in our intestines and in our colon. There's a connection between how we feel and how we react and how we respond, and especially people with autism, because we there's a connection. It isn't necessarily cause and effect, but there's definitely a connection between there's a higher amount of people that are autistic that have gastrointestinal problems, have allergies, and are highly sensitive to different foods and not able to digest properly and having constipation, having diarrhea, having anxiety, having depression. And a lot of it can be connected. It isn't necessarily a cause and effect, but if you eat a meal that is very heavy and hard to digest, of course, you're going to be tired after you eat that meal. If you eat a proper meal, you're supposed to have energy. You're not supposed to be tired. But a lot of people have problems with eating lunch, and they're eating a bunch of junk for lunch and a bunch of high sugary foods because they think they need energy. But then all of a sudden that 1 or 2 o'clock lull happens, and then you got to down more coffee, and then your adrenal glands are pumping towards the end of the day. And so a lot of that can get all messed up. So the bottom line is that we need to be extra special careful about how we treat our bodies, especially as autistic people, because there is a connection. So what they found, and I'll publish a link to this paper. It's a very long paper, and I didn't realize how long because I broke it down, and then this was going to be like maybe 30 minutes or even an hour, and that's too long because some of you have already checked out. Hopefully, everybody else is sticking around. But there's growing evidence that the collection of the gut bacteria is related to symptoms of autism, including social behavior and gastrointestinal issues. Research has shown a connection between the gut microbes and brain regions like the amygdala and another place that's called the insula that are thought to play a role in autism. This research, combined with the findings from studies on rodents, suggests that the gut microbes may have a role in causing autism, especially in individuals with gastrointestinal problems. So, like I've talked about before, is when they are looking at diagnosing somebody with autism, a lot of the times they're looking at our triggers, our problems making friends, keeping friends, uh, being bullied, being outcasts, and a lot of that can be triggered by having bad gut bacteria that's causing internal issues. Because the bottom line is autism is an internal problem, and it's exaggerated, especially when we are not healthy. So as children, we're not in control of what we're eating. And so if our parents don't know the proper diets to feed us, and it isn't necessarily their fault either, because, they're educated by their parents, they're educated by their neighborhood, their friends, and the American diet is not the healthiest diet out there. And so we can be extra sensitive. We can have allergies, and a lot of it may involve having bad types of bacteria in our guts. And so, looking at this idea that, so bottom line is probiotics can help, but they aren't the end all be all. There's something that's good to do. Eating fermented foods is very good, but eating a diet high in fiber, low in sugar, and you can even eat a diet high in meat because they found that there's good bacteria that digest meat. There's you don't have to eat a vegetarian diet in order to have the most proper gut intestinal bacteria. So you can eat high meat if you want, but you don't want to eat high sugar because the microbes that love sugar, those are usually the microbes that cause inflammation, cause pain, and then also send up bad chemicals into your brain that can make you feel anxious, depressed, all out of whack, tired, listless, and grumpy. And if that sounds like you and you're not eating the proper diet, you might want to look at what you're eating and how does it affect you after you eat that food? All you have to do is write down in a diary, how am I feeling after I eat this food? Does it give me energy? How long does it give me energy for? Do I get all hyper and then all of a sudden I have a sugar crash, and then I have to go and drink a cup of coffee in order to wake up again? That's not the best type of food. But at the same time, food can be addicting, especially sugary foods and kind of junk foods. Um, the food manufacturers know that, and they're working to make you want to buy those foods because they taste good. And a lot of the times we're just looking at the short-term gains, and so just be careful out there about what you're eating and how it's affecting you. because your gut microbes uh, are going to be telling you how you are doing in this life. And if you are looking at yourself as a victim and you're feeling terrible and you're getting grumpy at anybody that's around you, you need to first look at what you're eating. You have to look at how much you're sleeping. You got to look at are you willing to, uh, you know, argue with somebody about what's right and wrong, or are you willing to play along in order to get along? So, what is it that you were willing to do in order to make your life better? And looking at eating better and looking at the types of foods, so high fiber diet, any types of fiber. It's actually really good if you eat a lot of variety. Variety of food gives you a high variety of microbes, and those microbes will work together to build a good community, and then they'll actually protect you against the bad microbes that are out to get in there and throw you off. So if you eat the good foods, you'll feel better. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. So, this is Dan, and this is Finding Your Hidden Superpower, Autism, Asperger's, and those of us who are neurodiverse. So, eat right, and then you'll have a good day because you'll be able to deal with the day better. And so, have a great day. Please link, subscribe, and let people know. Have a great day.